In this video, we're going to look at multiplying two decimals. Rewrite the multiplication statements using copies of language and word names, then represent the decimal problems using the decimal grids. Okay. So here we have 3/10 times 4/10. In copies of language, we could say we have 3/10 of a copy of 4/10. So 3/10 of a copy of 4/10. Now remember, decimals are fractions. They're just a different way to write fractions. Okay, and we used a similar procedure when we found fractions of fractions in decimals. But let's just see, if we wrote 3/10 as a fraction times 4/10 as a fraction, what would we do? Well, we multiply the numerators. 3 times 4 is 12, and the denominators, 10 times 10 is 100. Well, how do we write 12/100ths as a decimal? Well, that would be 0.12. Okay. So let's look at this in this diagram. So I'm going to start with 3/10. So if I shade 3/10 this way, this is 3/10 of the unit. Now I want 4/10 of this. So I'm going to do this horizontally. And this is 4/10 of a unit if we look at the blue and the green combined. But notice the green part where the yellow and blue overlap, okay, this is 3/10 of 4/10. Okay. Now notice there's 1, 2, 3 times 4. There's 12, and each small square is 100th. So we have 12/100ths, just like we got when we used the fraction form. Let's look at the next one. We have 6/10 times 2/10. For copies of language, we would say 6/10 of a copy of 2/10. Okay, so I'm going to make 6/10 in this direction. Okay. And since it's multiplication, we can find 6/10 of a copy of 2/10 or 2/10 of a copy of 6/10. Either direction works. Okay. So here's our 6/10, and I'm going to do 2/10 horizontally. And notice here, 6/10 of a copy of 2/10 or 2/10 of a copy of 6/10 is the green shaded area, the overlap of the blue and the yellow. And if you count, there will be 2 rows of 6 or 12. And since they're the small rectangle or the small squares, they're hundredths. So again, the result of this product is 12/100ths. Okay. So what patterns do you see? So there are a lot of patterns to see here, but let's just focus on the numbers. If we multiply 3 times 4 or 6 times 2 as whole numbers, the product is 12. Okay. Here, in both cases, we didn't get 12, but we got a result of 12/100ths. Our results were both, and I'm going to write this as a fraction, 12/100ths or 0.12. Okay. And we're going to see, based on this pattern, which we're going to summarize on the next slide, that since there were 2 digits, 1 digit here and 1 digit here to the right of the decimal place, we can add up the number of digits, and that's how many places we'd go from the whole number product, 3 times 4 or 6 times 2, to the decimal product. We would move the decimal 2 places to the left. So let's summarize this. To multiply 2 decimals, we're going to multiply the 2 numbers as if they were whole numbers. So we're just going to disregard the decimals, okay, at first. Then we're going to determine the total number of digits that were to the right of the decimal point in your original 2 factors and add them. So in our case, we add 1 digit to the right, 1 digit to the right. 1 plus 1 is 2, and it was the same here. Then we're going to take your product from step 1, that whole number answer. Starting from the right, count as many place values as you found in step 2 and place the decimal point in this spot. Okay? So in the next video, we'll see some examples of doing this without drawing pictures or rewriting as fractions.